Hey guys, it's been a while. It's Gamers from Nowhere.
Woo!
Yep, and I figured what way to get our official episode out than on the Pokemon 30th, 20th anniversary.
30 minus 10.
So we're just going to talk about Pokemon. We're going to talk about Pokemon. We're going to talk about Pokemon.
There's a lot of exciting news to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of crap to talk about.
And today we're joined by two very special guests. We're joined by, of course, Dustin, who always seems to show up.
Yep. Hey guys, you can't get rid of me.
And we're also joined by the illustrious Hawkins.
The artist. The artist.
Yes, you may know, I don't know if you know, you may know him by Jackrabbit894. He does art on YouTube. He did our channel art. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Don't mention it again.
You don't have to follow me.
Alright, so
We have a lot to talk about.
Do we?
I feel like we do.
all right.
I mean, I know you guys feel like you don't, but I feel like we do.
All right, let's start. We'll start with the big news: Pokemon
Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon. What the f? Unfortunately, it was leaked a little early.
Just a day early.
Kind of killed it. No, I'm kidding.
Not really. I mean, I think most people just saw it as being a fake leak, but at the same time, everybody was like, "But what if?"
Yeah,
Because it was so close.
I will say, I think I can agree with Garrity, though, because the leak kind of made the direct that we just had yesterday a little bit more boring.
Yeah,
I mean,
it wasn't as exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that, but like, I guess for me, I just have been waiting for a main series Pokemon to come back out for so long now.
Right.
for some reason, it feels like the wait between X and Y and now has been just immense. I don't know why.
Well,
Like,
because
I didn't feel like Diamond and Pearl to Black and White took this long.
It has been over 2 years, believe it or not.
I know,
Yeah.
but
and I mean, if you even want to count Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, because they are just remakes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, I mean, yeah, they switched the story up a little bit in order to make the Mega Evolution work, but you really didn't get a new game out of it.
Yeah, it's still a remake.
Unless you come
At
to
the
Delta
core.
the Delta story.
But that's what I was saying.
really short.
They changed a little bit of it up,
Yeah.
not much, for you
Not
to be able to
enough
say
to
like, hey, we got a brand new game with it.
yeah.
Exactly.
So I was going to talk about. Do you guys have any theories as to what the region Pokemon Sun and Moon will be based on?
Hunter was talking about that earlier. I'd like to hear him say it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of like how Gold and Silver were, where you had, Kanto and Hoenn put together. I think we're going to have this 7th gen or something like that, whatever.
It's Johto. You said.
Did I say Hoenn?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
if only.
Yeah, if only we could have Hoenn, Johto, and Kanto in one game, right?
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool. Come on, Game Freak.
Um,
But anyway, I think that it's going to be kind of like that, where you have Johto and Kanto together. It's going to be your new, if it's even a new generation. This could be the second installment, and we all thought it was going to be Z, but it's not. I have a theory on that as well. But
I'm interested to hear that
Yeah, I
theory.
was about to say, it'd be the first time that the third installment was 2 games.
would it?
Well,
not counting
they-
Black 2 and White 2.
Yeah, by 2. Well, they were kind of different games.
They were
were
sequels. They're
Yeah.
everything. They're very different.
But anyway, we'll get back to that. I think that whatever, if this is 7th gen, it'll be in the southern part. Like, if you look at the Kalos map that Game Freak put out, there's a big clouded deserty area down towards the southern part of it.
I think I remember that, yeah.
It almost seems like they're trying to hide something from that with the fact that they had so much cloud coverage in that one particular spot. So I could see it easily being like, that's a different region that you start off in this new game.
I could see that.
And then, just like in Gold and Silver, you go through, you beat this region, and then it's all of a sudden like, hey, go to Kalos. And that's where the train station will come into play at.
yeah. There is that train station which actually I remember when we were playing X and Y, you even speculated that one day you'll be able to go on the train station. I don't know if you remember that.
But there's a train station that takes you to Keyloud. But you're talking about the train
I'm
station
talking about the train,
in Cormarine or whatever.
Yeah, the one where you go and talk to Professor Sycamore.
Yeah,
and it's
all I can think about is that one NPC who references a waterfall that goes backwards. I think she might have been talking about the distortion world from Platinum.
That was a waterfall.
well, and don't forget about the I don't know if you guys know about this, but the guy that you go to, you follow him from different hotel to hotel to hotel, and he gives you that cup or whatever it is, and he's like, "Oh, this isn't from any region that you know of yet." So
yeah, that is true.
So I mean, I think that's why I think it could be that this is a new region. He came from this region. He came, and it would make sense as to why he would be in Kalos. Because it's so convenient for him to have just come from this other place. If Kalos is based off of France, like they said, I've seen where people put a diagram of Kalos up to France, and it does look close to it, but like 2/3 of it is missing. 2/3 of what France would be is missing from where Kalos would be to fit in.
So you think the new region could be more of France?
I think
That'd be incredibly boring.
I think it could be like an expansion of it. But I don't know. I just hope that you don't have to take forever to go from first gym to second gym.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Okay, here's what I think it's based on. He's based on... I don't know. Okay, well, so Game Freak said they thought it was based on Singapore because, and the sketch drawings you saw...
Wait, Game Freak?
Game Explain said
Game
that...
Freak's making their own predictions about their own game?
It's that secretive. So Game Explain said that it was based on Singapore because you remember that aquarium looking thing that kind of looks like a gym?
I can't wait to find out what that is.
I want to talk about that a little bit.
Spoiler alert, it's a painting on the wall.
So they said that it looks very similar to a building in Singapore. I don't think it's on Singapore just because we've heard very little about that. And before, it was widely speculated that Kalos was based on France, partially because of the journey of Junichi Masuda. So Masuda went to France, and it was widely publicized on Twitter. He says, "I'm going to France." He took pictures and all this stuff, and everyone was like, wonder if his region's going to be based on France. Lo and behold, Kalos is based on France. So where has he been recently? Spain. España.
I'm just saying. I could get down with it being from Spain.
Yeah, I think the only reason Game Explain said that it was from Singapore is because of the palm trees and because of the building, which that building looks very generic. It looks like
it looks very generic. It could be a gym. It could be a resort. Yeah. I think it's a gym, but at the same time, I could see it being...
You know what's curious about the building? On the building, we see silhouettes of Pokemon from different regions. There's a Spheal.
They're all water type.
There's Spheal. There's Krabby. There's
Spheal. It's Staryu.
Spheal, Staryu, Horsey.
Horsey's the
statue.
Yeah. There's 4 Pokemon. They're all water type.
But you know what's weird?
What's that?
We don't see any Pokemon from the supposed 7th gen on there. Why?
That's true.
Wouldn't you want to... Sorry for the clock from nowhere. Wouldn't you want to advertise the gen, like the 7th gen Pokemon on the building? Look at Kalos. There's like tons of statues of 6th gen Pokemon and stuff like that.
To be fair, it's not the whole building that we saw.
It's only a small part of it, but
maybe that's why they showed it to us.
Well, and I think that's it because even the bird that we saw, that is no bird that we've seen before.
No, I thought it was fletchling at first.
A bunch of people thought it was fletchling at first, but the color is swapped around so bad. It's
got like a Celebi head.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what that's going to be. It's going to be the new, Pidgey, that kind of line. But
Talonflame.
But I think it'll be cool. But it's obvious that they don't want too much information put out right now about it.
What they're doing is just whetting our appetite. See, that's why the next 10 months or a few months are going to be agony, because it's going to be people pouring over the little information we have, trying to dissect every little detail. That's what we're doing right now, actually.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. I mean, like if you look at the trailer for it, or if you can even call it a trailer, honestly, but if you look at it, what do they emphasize most besides the language? The buildings and the vehicles. I mean, they specifically showed you those particular things, and them working on a Pikachu. I really hope that's not the way that this Pikachu looks in this game, because that looks too bubblegum anime to me.
Well, I didn't pay much attention.
The sketchings of Pikachu,
Yeah.
they look like
They kind of look like the 20th
Hold on.
anniversary version of what Pikachu is.
I thought it was the Kin Sugimori's like somewhat recent, like past 3 years.
Like where Pikachu slowly gained lost
actual
weight.
art, official artwork.
It might be.
I
don't know.
didn't imagine much of a difference.
Then again, there's like a couple of different sketches. So.
Yeah, I guess it depends on which one you were looking at, or I mean, I could be completely wrong with the way that I saw it, but
It didn't look very main game material.
Yeah.
yeah,
It did look more anime manga
But-
style.
But one thing I thought was really cool, like when they show the trucks, and if you pause it on there, one thing that stood out to me was like, I wonder if maybe they're trying to hint at like you're going to be able to do like side kind of stuff, like go and
Side quests.
yeah, which
Well,
would be that would
You kind of have those in 6th gen.
One of them is a fire truck. What if you could?
that's what I was about to say.
What if you
The
could have
fire
a
truck with
job?
the Blastoise.
A job.
Yeah, what if you could like.
My job is to become a Pokemon master. Thank you.
So-
Thank you very much.
but I mean like.
That's why I play the games.
I mean, like, I feel like Game Freak is trying to hide a lot of information from us by just showing you just these little bit of things. But I feel like the things that they did show have some significance because they wouldn't have just been like, oh, hey, let's show them a truck
Yeah,
that you're only going to see one time in the game.
Do you think
it's a moving truck.
there's some speculation that you'll have a car,
I mean, like,
own a car, like you get a like
I still assume that the trainers are like 10. So.
No,
I mean,
they're 30 this time.
they were teens.
Who
I think they were
cares?
teens
Who cares about realism?
So
It's
here,
Pokemon.
this is how it's going to work. You're actually going to be like a 30-year-old trainer,
That'd be awesome. I'd
and you're going to have a kid who's going to go out on his own adventure.
wow.
And what? You're just going to shadow behind
That's a
them
really
and watch
interesting
over
concept, though. Like, what if you could have a Okay, this is gonna be a
it?
weird.
Is your
case.
kid your rival?
That'd be awesome.
He's
But,
your
like,
trainee.
what if you lived within this world of Pokemon, though? Like, that's what I think they're sort of building to. I'm not sure if this version will be it, but like, what if you could like buy like a place to live in Pokemon? Like, not you know, like you could.
I get what you mean. Like,
You know what I mean? Like, kind of
Get
like
an
the secret,
apartment with a 10-car
kind of
garage.
like the secret bases in Gen 3, but you could just buy like a room, like a flat in a building,
that'd be pretty cool.
and like you could have people come. You could connect online and have people visit. you.
Or at least like a college dorm, like you're in a college.
Garrity doesn't like thinking about college.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
There's one thing that a bunch of people are constantly from videos that I've seen talking about, and everybody's excited about it, and just kind of like it's where they get is it Gen 6.5 or is it Gen 7? It all comes together. Instead of getting excited about it, that kind of freaks me out a little bit because it all comes together. That sounds like a finalization of something to me.
It kind of does.
Sounds like
it all comes together. So, I mean, what all comes together? Does
All 6 regions in one game.
That's my first thought. Like a lot of people want all 6 regions in one game. I think it's a little impossible.
So
but
yeah, I always call that. I always
think-
call that theory Pokegia, because like Pangea, like the supercontinent.
Mm.
So I call it Pokegia. The thing with that is, and Dustin knows, I'm going to say,
What?
sure, that there's no way they could ever do that because there's no way they'll ever be able to surpass that.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be their last game.
That would be
That's
the
what I'm
last
saying.
game.
It feel that would
Unless
be
they
the
want
last
to move
game.
on to like the Wii U or the NX or whatever, then I mean,
Pokemon in space.
I would love to see a
We'll
game.
get some Martian tyrant. Whoa.
I'd love to see a game that plays like Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD, but it's more like the regular.
It'd be like more like a main series
Yeah.
game.
People say that, and I think to a certain extent that would be very interesting. And the graphics, good lord, could you imagine? But the problem, my one issue with that is like I like Pokemon being portable.
That's true.
Yeah, I do too.
I like being able to like go somewhere and just be like, "Oh, I'm trying Diglett," stuff.
But again, that's the one thing that scares me is this. It all comes
The
together.
people-
I just want to know, what do they mean by that? Is it Mega Evolution? We finally understand what Mega Evolution's all about because in Gen 6 that was the big question. Why are we able to Mega Evolve stuff? Or is it all comes together as in all the regions come together in this one region?
well, just like a giant world tournament.
That'd be kind of
Well, but we had a world tournament in,
No, a
in
real
Gen
one,
5.
a real one, not a small fake one like that.
You know what I would?
I was just thinking of like Well, I would be going off topic if I mentioned it. But when you were talking about a world tournament, I was thinking of the Vital Festival from Ruby. So I've been watching that recently.
Oh,
Well, just hearing you say that made me think of the World Tournament in Dragon Ball Z.
And that made me think of the World Tournament and Pokemon Gen 5. So now we're back to Pokemon again. And anyway, like I was saying,
I don't know what you were saying.
Shiz, Shane.
I'm sorry.
You made me forget.
I clouded your mind. With
Oh, okay, right. So
this is also
we shouldn't read too much into what they say because I remember when they announced Gen 3 Remix, Oris, I remember Maryland and Jaywitz were talking about how Jaywitz was in the camp of, oh, this will just be a game of, it was just going to be a remake of Gen 3 with megas and special stuff like that. And then Maryland posited the idea, or I think posited the idea of it being a sequel to the Hoenn games that takes place after the events of Hoenn. And to an extent it kind of is, but not really. And the reason he said that was because in the advertisement it said something like a brand new adventure or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, it must be something new. But it wasn't anything new. It was just Gen 3 beautified, you know?
Well, wasn't it technically like a different universe?
Yeah, that's what at the
that's
end.
the speculation. Is that
The Zinnia side quest at the end.
She talks about how, this land, there was a time and a place where there was no such thing as mega evolution.
Yeah.
So what happens if they collide, kind of thing?
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool idea.
What if that's what comes together?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
That'd
Maybe
be really
that
weird and
But
silly.
here's my thought on it all comes together. And the marketing, because I think in marketing sense a lot, because that's what rules the world, money. But the marketing sense doesn't make sense behind this, but it would be really cool if they do a multi-region game. We just had Gen 3 come out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
It's not been that long ago that Gen 6 has come out.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to get every game into the Gen 6 mode, they just go ahead and throw Gen 4 and Gen 5 in with it. So somehow you get to go to Sinnoh after you go through whatever region this is, and then after that you go to Unova or something along, because then that would bring it all together. You would have all the games be remade, but then now you're at 6th gen, 6th and 7th gen.
But here's another issue about that is like if the regions all do come together, imagine starting off in this new region, we don't know what it's called yet, Bill Bob. Okay, we start in Bill Bob. All right, we beat the Elite Four in Bill Bob, but then we go to Unova, then we beat the Unovan League.
Can you say it one more time?
Bill Bob. then we go and we beat
Go to Sinnoh.
Go to Sinnoh. Then we beat. What level are the Pokemon going to be by the time we get to the Sinnoh League?
That'd be crazy.
Well, but here
45.
But if it's like how Gold and Silver were, I mean the leveling spaced out very well. I felt, if depending
But
on
we
how
just have to do that like 5 more times or 4 more
Well,
times.
I thought about that because me and you, Dustin, talked about this before the other day because I said I don't know how in the world they would make every region game work because
unless every time you get to a new region you start over.
Yeah, and basically that's the way it would have to be. It would have to be that you go to this new region and you boom, now I get my new starter Pokemon. I'm the same guy. I still have these Pokemon, but
if you enter the league, you have to
not necessarily restart, but you have to start with your new Pokemon. And once you get to a certain badge, you can use that Pokemon, and then it could go kind of like how the game regularly goes.
Yeah.
If you have Pokemon over this certain level, it won't listen to you. You have to get
Okay.
What I think could work is, like, let's say you beat Bill Bob, as Gary stated.
Mm-hmm.
You get all 8 badges in Bill Bob. You catch your legendary. You beat the Pokemon League, and then you go to, I don't know, Johto. I don't know. You're in Johto now, and you get your Totodile. But like you still have all the Pokemon you previously had, who were probably like level 60 and 70, are in your PC, and they're automatically stored. But when you get your starters, but you do technically have access to them. But since they're so high level, and the game you're technically starting a new game, they won't be able to listen to you anyway. So
and that's what I was saying.
You can't listen to you anymore. You're in Johto.
So basically, you're just
I don't
putting
like
it in
you.
them.
yeah, you're just starting a new game with strong Pokemon at your disposal. Yeah, dispose, but you can't use them.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. It would be cool if they did it like you can't use these Pokemon until after Gym 5 or Gym 6, whatever. You really wouldn't want to do it too late into it because then at that point it would just be like, well, I've gotten so attached to these Pokemon now, I'll just use them. So, I mean, you want it to kind of be spaced out decently well to where it'd be like, oh, I can mix and match now.
Plus the fact that like you'll be...
Go ahead.
Sorry. Plus the fact that you'll be wanting to catch different Pokemon in different regions.
Exactly.
Anyway,
I
continue.
was going to go off tangent anyway. What if it is multiple regions, but it's still one Pokemon League? Like, you have to travel to another region to get the next badge.
So, now that's a cool concept. That could be the way that they put all of them together. You go to each region. You don't fight the Elite Four. It's a thing of like the ultimate Elite Four. You have to go to every region, get every badge, and then kind of
need like 56 badges.
Yeah, I mean it
awesome.
sounds like a lot, but I mean still.
I'd do it.
But here's the thing: it's like again, I know that the Pokemon at the end of every thing would be like so overpowered, but then you get to this final thing, everybody's got level 80s, level 90s, level 100.
Game Freak can raise the level cap.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
You're on badge 27 and your opponent has level 210 Pokemon.
You go and it's like you're fighting red. That would be the coolest thing is to be like, you get I guess maybe like the champion from each region to go and be like the Elite Four, but it would be more than 4.
But see, I feel like if they actually did do this, they would have to dumb it down a bit. Maybe like 2 badges per region. Because the thing is, every time they make a Pokemon game, they have to try to make it to where new players can get into it without feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, but screw that.
I don't think you would feel overwhelmed though. I think you could just look at it as, because then every time you go to a new region, you're playing a new game almost. Even though it's the same game that you're playing, but it's almost a new game because you start off with a new Pokemon, you start off with a new town. It's not necessarily now that it's your hometown. You don't have to go talk to the stupid professor at the beginning of it. Just be like,
you don't have to have a stupid mom.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. You cut out all that kind
sorry,
of.
I love you,
You
Mom.
cut off all the buildings.
You cut out.
It's just gyms.
You cut all that crap out, and it's like you get off the boat, and it's like, hey, welcome to Unova. Here's your commemorative, pass to saying that you're allowed here, and here's your options of starter Pokemon. Pick which one you want, and then you go from there. I think that would be really cool. I think people would enjoy that because then you're, like I said, you start off like normal. You talk to your mom, you go to the professor, whatever. You're done with it at that point, and then you just go through and
That doesn't feel too out of the way to me because they recently, I mean, I know it's a spinoff, but they did release Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon not too long ago, and you can play as any of the starters from any region in that. So that's
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. Pokemon Sun and Moon, Omni region, commemorative passports in every region, infinite starters.
We completely went from talking about Sun and Moon to if we got a game with everything.
it's a little bit of wish.
I have one last point to make on this subject before we should probably
yeah.
turn to something else. Okay. If this does come to fruition, your idea, what does Gen 8 look like?
Well, no, I'm not trying to say that that's what this is going to be. I was just saying in the sense of if we got a game for every region out there. That was what my whole thought for that was.
God. Could you imagine we get to the point where we have like Pokemon planets?
Oh my god.
I mean, we have
There's more
Deoxys.
than one Pokemon world now.
Just Pokemon Mars, dude. Just Furfros on the rovers. Okay,
But I mean, I really don't feel like it's going to be every region's going to be in it. But I do feel like it could be multiple regions in it.
Right. At least 2.
Yeah, I mean, at least 2. I definitely could see it being that they put Sinnoh and Unova in there. Because just to kind of tie everything in.
What if this is the last hoorah per se? What if it's not a new region? What if it's like Sun is Kalos, Hoenn, and Kanto, and Moon is Johto, Sinnoh, and Unova?
that would actually be awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be
because then you got 2 games that are the next game out.
Yeah,
but
and
they're
each one
two
has three
totally
versions.
different games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's incentive to buy both.
We're playing too much Fire Emblem, guys.
We're getting a little ahead of ourselves, I think.
But I love that concept. You should
I-
write Game Freak on that one.
Game Freak. I'm gonna email you real fast.
Do you guys think they're still going to remake Gen 4?
Yeah.
They
really
better.
feel-
How soon do you think?
Right now.
It'll be a while.
I think it'll be a while.
Look how long it took them to go from Johto to make a remix of Hoenn.
That's true.
How,
Yeah.
what the Heart Gold and Soul Silver was 2009?
Something like
I think it's
that.
2009 because Black and White was 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? That was 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, too long.
I mean, I feel like it'll be sooner than that, but I still think it'll be on. I think we'll get it on the next
handheld. Yeah.
Because otherwise, that's way too many games for Pokemon to put
Just
out.
Be
Yeah.
on the 3DS.
Yeah. Because I mean, it almost feels like a stretch that they're putting a 7th gen.
It almost it does feel like a stretch.
But when you think about it, you did have
You
Diamond,
had Diamond and Pearl
and then
Platinum,
you had
and then Black and White.
and
Black and White 2, Black 2 and White 2 shouldn't. Honestly,
Black and
should have. Black 2 and White 2. They do that. They do it with every generation. Actually, they always have like one game that comes out that's like a little too late for the system almost.
yeah.
Like Crystal felt like it probably should have been a Game Boy Advance game. Emerald felt like it probably should have been a DS game.
The only one that actually did work out is the ones that came out today. Actually,
and Black 2 and White 2 felt like they should have been on 3DS. Sorry.
thank you for cutting my point off.
Well, I had to get to the climax.
The only ones that did kind of do that is the first gen games, because if you think about it, Blue and Red came out on Game Boy, and then
That's true.
And then you had Yellow that came out on Game Boy Color.
Right.
So I mean, same game system almost, pretty much, but at the same time,
But like Game Boy Color is like the Game Boy Advanced SP to the Game Boy.
well,
Correct.
and it's like the Nintendo 3DS to the new Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
the DS Lite to the old DS.
yeah, I mean, it's literally the same thing, just a little bit more improved.
Could you,
But
I was going to compare the original gray DS to the new 3DS.
It's
That's
been-
like the earliest and the latest.
That's a big change.
but
They've had several variations of 3DSs.
One day I'm going to tell the viewers about my stories of losing all my DSs,
oh,
but not right now. Anyway,
hey, you know what? If this next one is in Spain, maybe your 3DS is in,
Oh, that's
or your
true.
You pick up a
That is-
Pokeball and it's like, we found Garrity's lost 3DS.
That is
Or
where you
DS.
lost your original one.
yeah, I think it was the gray one I lost there.
But anyway, so now to my theory on why I think that this could be sequels to X and Y.
I hope it's not.
I really don't think it will be, but if you think about
I mean, it
how,
will be, but
if you think about how Black 2 and White 2 did, you start off in a whole new hometown in a whole different part of Unova.
Mm-hmm.
Parts that we never saw before in the first Black and White.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then you had other towns that were not in the first Black and White that showed up.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that if this is a sequel, that Game Freak has put out a game where in the next installment of it, you've seen towns that were not in there to begin with. So
Right.
it could make sense that we have some towns in this sequel.
I agree. It
Yeah.
makes sense, but
But
they shouldn't do
then
it.
also at the same time, though, if you think about it, Moon is blue, correct? The color for the
Dialga.
art is
Dialga, yeah.
no, it's blue. X was blue.
Right.
X had Xerneas.
Okay.
What was the special move that Xerneas could use besides Geomancy?
Blast,
Moonblast.
Moonbeam.
Moonblast.
Moonbeam is the thing in GTA.
he
your
mooned
car.
you.
Oh,
car in GTA.
I apologize.
We're talking about Pokemon.
I mix those
Moonblast.
up all the time.
Moonblast. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense that they're transitioning from that, but the only thing that puts a hindrance in that idea is
What, if Altal's...
Yveltal doesn't have a,
What's
sun
his attack?
move. It's that Oblivion wing.
Oh, Oblivion Wing. Oh, the sun is Oblivion. If the sun crashed down on Earth, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, yeah, but
feel like
at
we're
the same
in
time, but
That's what
you do have sun, and it was red, and it kind of looked a little bit like the red and blue that they used for X and Y. That's really nitpicking right
That
there.
is-
But like
extremely
most of the games are red and blue. Like you got Pokemon Red and Blue for crying out loud. You got Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. You got Pokemon X and Y.
Right,
Pokemon.
and I get that
Diamond and
again.
Pearl's blue and pink, but whatever.
Again, I'm nitpicking here, but that was my thought in why it could be more of a. The only thing is I don't see where Sun would fit in with it for Y. X makes complete sense.
Raise your hand if you think Solrock and Lunatone are going to be the legendaries.
Because the viewers can totally see if
We're all raising our hands right
Shut
now.
up, Shane.
But I really don't think it'll be that. I thought that would be a cool thing to throw
On
out
the
there.
topic of comparisons to Black 2 and White 2, there has been some speculation that Zygarde form, the biggest one, has like some relation to both Yveltal and Xerneas, which is like Black 2 and White 2 had the Kieran.
I'm
The
so
splicing.
sick of hearing about stupid Zygarde. I hate that Pokemon. Like I know that it has new forms. I have no doubt he's going to play a role in the new games. I have no doubt
he's got
he's going
to.
to show up with the new forms and stuff. But I just hate it. I think he looks like I think he looks like actual like literal crap to me. Like that's what he looks like.
What if it's like anime exclusive though?
I hope.
What do
so.
we know? Because like Ash Greninja has obviously got to be anime exclusive.
Yeah, and it could be. I mean,
It's for the best. Let's be real, Game Freak.
don't get me wrong. I think that if they were to do like Zygarde Ultimate Form or whatever, they would put that into the game. I mean, it is an actual thing, but if it were to be just anime exclusive, I think that somehow they would have to incorporate that into the game because
I mean,
I think that they kind of. I just don't see how they could put Cell in there, the Zygarde cells, and then making it go into the dog.
Perfect Cell.
No, I'm not talking about Perfect Cell. Even though I know a bunch of people try to compare the two.
That's not
But,
a lot of Pokeballs. You.
And you're gonna get sued.
Yeah.
But I feel like they would have to incorporate it somehow. Not necessarily Ash Greninja because there's no Ash in the game
Right.
unless you're playing Yellow and you named your guy Ash.
Like
But-
somebody did.
But I could definitely see it being in the games in some way. But
Yeah. I just hope it doesn't overpower the games. I hope Zygarde's not like the big deal in the game. That's all.
I don't think it will
No.
be. I think that
He's your starter.
We just started first gym Zygarde, second gym Zygarde, third gym.
The legendary Zygarde.
my only questions are like, okay, we've got the Zygarde forms, we've got Volcanion, who is a Gen 6 Pokemon that we know nothing about except for the fact it's getting a movie. So why are we getting Gen 7 before we even get a release of Volcanion?
Yeah.
Is this new Iron Bunny, Magiana or whatever,
Mangina.
whatever?
Mangina, right?
I haven't seen this
Gearna, but
Iron
That's what
Bunny.
it says.
It's you're lucky. It's a terrible design.
I'm gonna Google that right now.
I like.
Oh, I think you did see
Yeah, I was
this.
gonna say Gary.
This is the
totally showed
Diancie
us.
looking thing.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah, the Iron Bunny.
I was.
It's
I
like-
thought
it's like
I was-
half-
I thought I dreamed about that text.
It's like half machine though. Only the head looks like a bunny.
To me, it looks like Diancie fused with Clean Clang.
Yeah.
Ew.
But so is that going to be Gen 6 Pokemon, which
Yeah.
nobody's heard anything about? It wasn't in the files for Gen 6. Like,
Yeah, well, it wasn't in the code.
so it's got to be a Gen 7 something.
How was it leaked though? Like, how did people?
It was in
find
Korokora.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was
I
it-
thought somebody found it through hacks, like the same time they found
No,
Lupa.
No. It
I
was
don't
a scan.
Volcanion.
It was a
They found
picture.
Volcanion, Diancie, and Hoopa all at the
Yeah,
same
you
time.
saw it.
And
scan.
that Floette, and then the Mega Latias.
When I
and
sent it in a
Megalodios.
message to our group text, I sent it as the scan from the magazine. I'm pretty sure.
I know,
Yeah.
but well, you mean Magirna or what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was a
Yeah.
that was a
I'm
scan.
not talking about Magirna. I'm talking about
Volcanion.
Volcanion.
Yeah, Volcanion was found in the code.
Yeah, that's what we were talking
That's
about.
what's weird about it to me.
That's what's confusing is because it is a Gen 6 Pokemon.
Right.
Why is that there and Magearna not?
Yeah, why? So that's what I'm saying is since that is a Gen 6 Pokemon, because the code's in Gen 6, where does Magearna fit into all of this?
This is true.
Where, is it Gen 7 or is it?
Gen 8.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
mean, I don't get it. So there's a lot of questions to this that need to be answered.
And
at
I'm
some
sure they'll
point.
be answered throughout the year. I've got a lot of months to wait.
Gary's been trying to end this for 20
No,
minutes.
it's just we've been going for a while. Are you guys ready, or do you have anything else to say? We can keep
Going
going.
on 35 minutes.
I think we can keep going, man.
Okay.
I think
Another 35 minutes.
Hey,
Let's go.
would you kill me if I?
we only have Pokemon Day, once every 20 years. So I say we just make this like a big old blowout. How often do we get Hawkins and Dustin here?
I mean,
Just
we get Dustin a
you
lot,
can
but
call
we don't
me
get
Shane.
Hawkins.
I mean, I have a first name.
Shut up, Mr. Hawkins.
Hey, would you guys kill me if I went to the bathroom then? Because I really have to go.
No,
I know it's unprofessional.
Get out.
I have to go to the nowhere bathroom.
I guess we could edit this part out.
No,
No, that's perfect.
Is it
We'll
fine?
edit everything else out, though.
you guys
We'll
can
keep
keep
this
talking.
part. Just go.
Just go.
Okay.
Just go. Don't make things awkward. Jeez. I thought that was my job.
Well, my viewers, I'm the new Garrity.
Okay.
But so let's talk about the villains. Let's talk about the villain of the game.
I've heard people speculate that Sun and Moon villains are going to be Team Eclipse.
That would be
Just,
cool.
It
would.
makes sense.
It does. It makes very much sense. I like that thought. I have not even thought about that. I've not heard anything about that.
What are your
That's
thoughts
cool.
on it?
This people are going to call me Gen Oneer for this, but I would love a return of Team Rocket.
I think everyone would.
I don't think anybody would be
that's
upset
not
about that.
I think after they're about the only team that made any kind of sense as a villain team.
Right.
Because
There were actual bad guys.
yeah, like every other team was like, we're going to destroy the world, or we're going to set Pokemon free by attacking other Pokemon.
Here's an off-the-wall theory. What if by everything comes together, or it all comes together, it means Team Rocket, Team Plasma, Team Ralph, Team...
All of them?
All of them get
come
together.
to become Team...
But Giovanni
Just
died.
Pikachu.
Ralph?
But Giovanni died. So I mean, that's the kind of thing.
He faked his death.
I mean, I would hope that would be what it is.
This is a kid's game. Nobody dies. I mean, except Giovanni.
Which, I mean, it's not been confirmed that he died, but it's...
Latios died in the third movie, or the fifth movie, not third.
Okay, well, besides all those deaths, nobody dies.
Lysander died.
Who cares?
He got blown up.
We're just gonna spend the rest of the podcast proving you wrong.
Okay, like I said, besides all the deaths, there are no deaths.
I personally would like to see another two bad teams.
Oh, like Team Aqua and Team
Magma.
Yeah, but
Not.
maybe not. Maybe it's not soon enough for that because we did just get the Gen 3 remakes.
Remakes, though. It don't count.
I like that thought, but I'm like you. I think it's
What if
too
we just-
soon
what
from
if we
having
just
Gen
go-
3.
What if they go straight to the
Oh,
line?
there goes the nowhere clock again.
Jeez, we have been recording for a long time. What if it's just Team Sun and Team Moon? How boring though would that be?
That would be pretty boring, but
I've seen speculation.
And then they
like-
join together to make Team Eclipse.
I've seen speculation where one team could be trying to make an eternal day while the other one's making an eternal night.
You ever been to Alaska?
They have an eternal night there all the time.
I thought it was
Forever.
a day. Is it day?
Depends on what time of the year it is.
They got like 3 months of daylight, and then the rest is dark.
That is strange.
It's Alaska.
Okay,
Why is it
I'm
way
back.
up there
So-
with
Welcome
Canada?
back, Gertie.
So we're talking about villains. What do we think the new villain will be?
Oh. Team Rocket. Not for him to make a comeback. See, part of the reason it's going to be Team Rocket is very simple.
This is factuality.
This is factual. Quote me on this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be Team Rocket's time to shine because
They're going to be blasting off again.
Sun, Moon.
Way up in the sky.
Okay, no. Because think about it. This entire time for the Pokemon 20th anniversary, they've been talking about, Gen 1.
Yeah,
Gen
they've
1.
been glorifying
Gen
Gen
1. Gen 1. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Over and over again. Past games. Remember your history. Go play those games again. Get familiar with the enemies.
Keep your enemies closer.
Yeah. So eventually, it's going to be Team Rocket finally come back from dark, and thank goodness because the most recent teams have been trash.
I really believe this since Team Rocket, they've all been kind of trash.
I think this most recent bad guy team had somewhat of a flair to them.
I was okay with Team Flare to
No, you weren't.
I've got a love-hate relationship with Plasma. The last one was just like weird.
Team Galactic was the weirdest.
They literally no sense.
None of them made any sense. The only ones that made sense was Team Rocket.
Yeah.
Again, you've got a group of bad guys that are trying to steal Pokemon for money. That is truly evil. But I mean, smart evil. The rest of them are, we want to flood the world. We want to make a desert of the world. We want to make a brand new world and just destroy the one we're in now. We want
to be beautiful.
we want to get rid of
Liberate
all.
Pokemon.
We want to get rid of all Pokemon because they should be free. But we're going to steal all your Pokemon and abuse the ones that we have and get rid of.
We need to liberate Pokemon by using Pokemon to do so.
We need to just destroy all Pokemon because they're beautiful. They're just the best things ever. So we need to get rid of them.
You know what I'd like to see? No matter what the team is like, I want to see grunts that don't have the same Pokemon as other grunts.
I agree. I would like there to be a vast majority of Pokemon between the grunts.
If you're just
depending on like what area you're in, that's the Pokemon that they could have.
Because if you're just fighting a bunch of Glameows, I'm going to get sick of that.
I hated Glameows and
Diamond Pro.
Fatter Glameow.
And I want them to be like, I want it to be like Pokemon that you wouldn't expect them to use. Like most of the bad guys, they use dark types, poison types.
Yeah,
your normal bad kind of stuff.
Dude, Rattata, bad Pokemon.
Horrible.
What's it doing with that Team Rocket?
I mean, even Team Magma and Team Aqua, they used some fire and water, which made sense. But at the same time, what they used,
they had like Poochyena.
Yeah,
and, like
they had more Poochyena than they did their own team types.
Yeah, so I mean, I would like it for it to be like, oh, they use psychic types, or oh, they have fairy types, something like that.
That would be interesting. It would make the game a little harder, I think.
Yeah, I want it to be something that we aren't expecting. I want this whole game to be like so completely different from what the past games have been, but at the same time keep the core of what Pokemon is.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like I said before. Oh, I've talked about this before with you guys. I'm ready for Pokemon to evolve past the generic get 8 badges, fight the Elite Four, be the game. I'm ready for it to have a more involved story. I'm ready for them to be more, more regions. I'm ready for something more,
something to where the badges are optional.
Yeah, I always felt like they didn't have a good ending to them. You become champion and what? I go through the Elite Four again for what reason? Just for no reason, but just to prove I'm the champion again. That made no sense to me. I always have thought that you should be able to.
They crown you champion, and then you come
you
back.
Have to go back through again.
Oh, by the way, that didn't happen.
Yeah, the old champion is still.
I want more like what they did with Black and White, where all you get interrupted right after the 4th Elite Four member.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I want more stuff kind of like that.
That would be cool. I would like it if after you become champion, you get the chance to fight people.
Be the champion?
Yeah, you get to be the champion. Or you could decide to give up being the or not decide, the game would decide it for you because that's how it works. But like you give up being champion and you go and become a gym leader kind of thing. Yeah. And then you accept different gym battles from different people, whether it be online or whether it be, NPCs. I think that would be really cool. You could get like different trainers from different games to show up and be like, "Hey, I'm from the blah 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 region. I came to challenge you because I'm taking on this
blah blah region."
Gen 8 confirmed.
Nah, man, that's Gen 9.
Oh, my bad. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, it's an exciting time to be a Pokemon fan.
It really is.
Speculation part of the time.
We probably shouldn't hype too much because it might let us down.
X and Y has forever tempered my expectations, and not to say X and Y are bad games. They just didn't quite live to my impossible to achieve fantasy of what they could have been.
They were fine the first time that you played through.
I loved it.
I thought it was the. When I played it and I beat it, I said, this is the best Pokemon game made to date. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, I've played through it so many times.
I was about to ask, how many times have you beaten it?
I've played through it so many times. Different ways I've played through it. Nuzlocke challenges.
Hey, you want to share with our listeners and viewers how many Kalos games you have?
Shut up.
I mean, I can't really. I'm not one to talk, but
I have more Hoenn games than I do Kalish games, so
fair enough. Even though they're remakes.
yeah. I have 2 versions of each. I only have 1 version of Y. I have 2 versions of X. I have 2 versions of Horus. I have 2 versions of, well, I just said Horus. I have 4 versions of Horus. I have 2 of Omega Ruby and 2 of Alpha Sapphire. I have the original Ruby. I have the original Sapphire. I have Emerald. Actually, you have my Emerald.
I do have your Emerald.
I've had a Ruby. I've had 2 Emeralds. I've had
You had
1
2
Omega.
X's, you had 2 Y's because you gave me a Y.
Yeah. Why? I don't know. Why exactly? That's the one.
Well, they belong to your brother, and he sold them to you
Yeah.
for some reason.
Anyway, breaking the 4th wall. Back to reality. Back to nowhere. I played through this game so many times in different ways, different challenges, different ways to try to make it fun again. And it's been fun, but at the same time, it's just like,
You know everything is coming.
you know it's all coming. And I feel like it's because it took them so long to put out a new game.
Mm-hmm.
If they could have made it compatible with the Megas from Horus, I think it would have been a little bit different because it would have made it a brand new game again almost.
Yeah.
Because then you could go through with the Horus Megas. Still, it's the same game, but at the same time, it's limited.
Yeah.
But that would break it open again. I feel like it took so long for them to put a new game out that's why it's made it so hindered.
Yeah. What I would like is if this would be next to impossible to do for these games, but like every game, different events happen differently, just like randomly. There's some randomness to it. Like if let's say we get the games on release date, we start them up, and different things happen. Like some random person comes up to challenge you on your way to the first gym.
That'd be really cool.
And then but Garrity over here doesn't get that challenge. And different trainers in the gym, and it's like
Yeah.
so you can't look over at your friend and be like, "How did you do this exactly? Let me do that the exact same way." And
Yeah,
we'll get the
That
same
would be
exact
cool.
results.
So it'd be like your own personal game almost.
Like your own world.
And even if you start
It'd be like
decide
a
to start the
spin
game
though.
over, it'll even if you start it over, different things will happen.
Yeah.
You know,
to an extent.
This is sort of off topic, but Yahtzee, the game reviewer, you know what I'm talking
Oh, I
about
love
from
that guy.
the Escape, from the Escapist.
Yeah, that's a fun game to play.
No, he brought up a point about Skyrim, which I thought was good. So he said that Skyrim is a great water cooler game because when you go to talk about Skyrim, you can say, well, I was on my way to Whitehall, and all of a sudden a dragon attacked me, and then all of a sudden a mammoth aggroed into the fight, and so suddenly I'm fighting, a dragon versus me versus a mammoth at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And someone else can be like, well, I was stuck in Labyrinthia, and I summoned an ancestral ghost to guide me through there, but then it led me the wrong way, and I suddenly fought a super hard mage that I'm not supposed to fight.
So what you want is a Pokemon game that isn't always the same. You want
Right.
something that's changeable.
Right. So every time you do something, it's a different adventure worth telling someone else about.
I want them to put more decision into the game. Let you, the player, decide how you want it to go.
That'd be
Whether
kind of cool.
It could be interesting.
But
I
it's
wanna
just
see how
it's
it could
but
work.
I
the
want
thing is, like, they're never going to make a game where you join the evil side.
Well, no, I don't necessarily mean that. I mean, like, I want it to be more of a do I go left or do I go right kind of thing. Do I go to this town and go get this badge, or do I go to that town
I
and
like
get that
that.
badge?
I like that.
Because then I could go all the way to the end badge, the badge that you would normally get last, the 8th badge. Challenge it. I don't know that that's the badge. If this is my first time playing, I don't know that that's the one that's at the very end. So I go into it, and all of a sudden I'm fighting all these level 60 Pokemon, and it's like,
I really
I
like.
just got my Pokemon. What happened? What the heck?
I actually really,
So take out like the H, not really take out, but like that would throw a wrench in the HMs.
Take
Well,
out
I
the-
think you
like,
should take out
okay.
the HMs anyway.
I
I feel
think-
like they're pointless to have now because you have so many different ways of getting around without needing them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Eon Fleet broke that.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a really interesting point because that would kind of make the game kind of sort of like an early Zelda game, like Link to the Past, or even before that, where it's just sort of it's open and you can challenge whatever you want. There's no because if you think about it, Pokemon games they're very open and they're very wide, but when it's basically a straight line.
Yeah, it's linear.
Yeah.
It's basically
It's very linear.
Like
It's just like a maze.
Yeah, so I think it actually be really interesting to have a sort of Link to the Past-esque sort of map layout where you can go in whatever order, well, relatively whatever order you please, but you have to face the consequences of doing so.
Mm-hmm.
That could work, but I don't know. I still think that they would want to make the game easier for newcomers, and I know that's not something anyone wants to hear.
Well,
Shane's pulling a soccer eye.
He kind of is, but I feel like they're trying to aim the demographic a little bit more towards the older people now.
Yeah.
At the same time, keeping the younger demographic that they have already, but I feel like they're trying to bring back in the people that used to play,
Right. Well,
which is why
we're still here.
Yeah,
I'm raising my hand, Game Freak.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. We had Gen 6, which was a huge throwback to Gen 1, if you think about it.
Yeah, that game was like pretty much Kanto almost.
Yeah.
Like, Pokemon-wise, not regional-wise.
So, I mean, and now they've got this whole train on. The anime went back to the original theme song for a while.
Yeah.
It did?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
It was done differently, but it was the same theme. It was the
Like the same lyrics?
yeah.
Got it.
So I mean, and now we got this train on, and a bunch of the stuff in the video was from Gen 1, Gen 2,
Yeah,
and it wasn't remake of Gen 1, Gen 2. It was 8-bit Gen 1, Gen 2.
Yeah,
it was a bunch of throwback to our age.
Yeah, it's clear they don't want Gen 1 getting forgotten.
Which I'm not sure is going to happen. I feel like Game Freak's... I almost feel like Game Freak's paranoid about, like, crap, we have to get... I feel like Game Freak is perpetually trying to grab the 90s generation back.
But the thing is, that's the people that have stayed.
Yeah,
we're the ones that we're still here.
You don't need to come for us. You know what I mean?
The biggest fans, the most reliable fans are the ones.
If they haven't come
90s
already,
kids.
if those people who have not, like, if Pokemon's doing this outreach program, that sounds weird, but like if they haven't joined already, they're not going to join. It's just not going to happen. They should forget about it. They should just pull a Gen 3 and just keep going forward.
In 2016, you're not going to
Randomly
get more, grab more players, suck in more players to the franchise with showing Gen 1.
Yeah.
I feel like they're trying to, again, pull in that older demographic, that older group, but they're doing it the wrong way. They're trying to say, like, hey, look, don't forget about, all this that we had in the past. Instead of them saying, hey, look what you had in the past. Listen to the people that have stayed.
Yeah.
That are saying, hey, you can make it better by doing this. You can, if you changed it just this little bit. We know it kind of goes off of what you normally do, but if you made it, if you changed it this way, you've been doing it for 20 years the same way. Change it up a little bit. Mega Evolutions was awesome.
Yeah.
Because that totally changed the game up.
Yeah.
But all it did was change the game up in the battling sense. It didn't change it up in anything story wise.
Yeah.
Change up your story a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't make me have to go through town after town after town, beat an obstacle to get to the next town, beat an obstacle to get to the next town. Let me be able to choose the town that I want to get to. Yeah, I might have to beat an obstacle to get there, but you know what? Let me be able to sort of be able to beat it.
Give the player a little bit more control over the...
Exactly. Give me a little bit more control, Game Freak.
Yeah.
You started too with character customization.
Really, the whole game you're on rails. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
just going through until you beat it.
Yeah, and actually, when X and Y was coming out, I thought it wasn't going to be that way because you saw all these like pictures of him like running through like fields and stuff like that, and all these different angles. But then you realize when you start playing the game, you're like, wait, this grass is a slightly different color and uphill, and I can't get up there.
Yeah,
like I can't go that direction.
Right.
It's there. You're still basically on the same one path.
it's just 3D.
Just 3D. Just
Yeah.
yeah, just eye level now, I guess.
You can go back to towns you've already been to, but you can't go to ones you
So I'm
haven't
just-
been to.
yeah, I'm just
This
kinda-
is the next one.
Yeah, so that's the thing is like for me is like so I think in a way I'm not quite. I think part of the reason that's why I wasn't super hyped for Sun Moon is because I guess in part of me there's this anxiety that Pokemon is going to fall back into the same trappings, the same generic
It's going
trappings
to be
of
the
its
same
formula.
game that we've already had
Yeah.
6 times over.
It's like
It won't stop us from buying it, but
No, it won't stop us from it won't stop me from getting both versions twice.
don't get me wrong, like those critics who say that like oh Pokemon's just the same game over and over and it's stupid. It's not the same game over and over, but it is very similar.
It is.
But here's the thing: if it's a good game, I don't care. Like it can be so similar it can pretty much be the same game almost with slight variations. I'll still buy it if I have fun playing it.
Yeah.
Right. It's the thing of if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, it's not broke, but at the same time, you do need to give it a tune-up.
Yeah.
you want to make sure that before it gets broke, that you keep it fixed.
Yeah. It might not be broken, but it's getting rusty.
That's pretty much the perfect analogy for that situation.
So I think this has been a great discussion. I think it's been a long one. I think
we'll just drag it out 5 more minutes, make it an hour.
Have we really been talking that long?
Yeah, it's been an hour.
It's been a while. Yeah.
Oh man, when you get us talking about Pokemon, conversation can go on forever. That's just the great
In fact,
thing
let me
about.
go grab a sleeping bag.
Yeah, can you tell what our favorite franchise is, viewers?
That's the great thing about Pokemon. That's the great thing about the Pokemon community. We can all come together and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I have not seen one Pokemon fan that can walk up to another Pokemon fan and just get mad about talking about Pokemon.
Yeah.
Sure, you could argue about different things, but
overall, you're not going to storm out of the conversation.
You're not going to be like, well, I just hate Pokemon now because of you. No, it's not going to be that way. It's a great community. It's something fun to talk about that we've been able to talk about for 20 years now.
Yeah, it's funny because
well, we haven't really been able to talk about it for 20 years because
some of us were
only 4 at the time.
It must have made an impact on our lives.
So I was able to talk about it. It's funny because Pokemon, I think part of the reason I like it, and it is because it's become this sort of immutable thing in my life where if I think back to the generations, I can tell you what I was doing. Like Pokemon Red and Blue, that's my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
But Pokemon Gold and Silver, that's me into my early preteen years, right? Mm-hmm. Then Ruby and Sapphire, that's when people stopped liking Pokemon, and that's when I started hanging out with certain friends of mine that I don't, hang out with,
right?
Or this distinguishing point in my life. Diamond and Pearl, that's when Dustin and I were hanging out, and
that's when
we kind of all got our friendship back on track and met back up
back in 2007, and then Black and White was during my college years, or my Wofford years, more specifically. Mm-hmm. And then so it's like every generation, there's something that I can remember.
Right. It's been with us forever. Pokemon forever.
Wow. Thank you, viewers, and that'll be all. Pick up Pokemon Forever DVD and Blu-ray. Now on Blu-ray.
Is it on Blu-ray?
Now it is.
When the Pokemon movie started, go downhill after that. But no, it's Pokemon's an amazing game company.
If you haven't heard of Pokemon.
Oh, this is great.
You need to hear about it.
They've heard of that.
No, they definitely have now.
If you're not
through an hour of this,
if you're not a Pokemon fan, just come talk to me, and you'll be a Pokemon fan by the end of it.
Just give me 5 minutes, and then you'll be a Pokemon fan. Then I'll talk to you for another 3 hours about it.
We probably should call this and then
all right. Well, okay. Well, I have just I had something to say, but I've completely forgotten it once again.
Well, in the meantime,
I got one thing to throw out there. Me and Garrity made a update video, and we lost it. We don't know where it went, so we're going to make another update video at some point and put it out.
Basically, we were just talking about Fire Emblem.
Yeah, we were talking about Fire Emblem and some other stuff that we want to do with the channel.
Right.
But with it being Pokemon Day, I think there's one thing that we can kind of talk about that we can just throw out there real quick.
Oh, right.
Something that we're going to add to the channel that's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, we both love Pokemon.
Right.
I won't say that one of us loves it more than the other, but one of us does love competitive Pokemon more than the other. And that would be me. There's a awesome website out there called Pokemon Showdown. And me and Garrity are going to go on Pokemon Showdown. We're going to record a few battles. What we're going to do is he's going to make a competitive team however he wants. I'm going to have no say in what he does. Mm-hmm. He's going to make a competitive team, and then I'm going to battle with that team one time, and then he's going to battle with that team one time to see how it goes. And we're just going to try to ladder in the showdown to see where we get from there. So it's going to be crazy. When he does his battles, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to give him any direction. I just going to sit back. If you've watched for those of you that like to watch Pokemon YouTubers, Mega Mogwai, he does Pokemon. We're kind of doing the same thing. I mean, it's the exact same thing, only I'm not having to put subtitles in for Garrity. Although I probably should. Yeah, don't know what he said there. Not even wasting time on that one. But, so that's something exciting that I'm looking forward to. I know you're looking forward to it as well. Maybe at some point we'll get Hawkins and Dustin involved with it.
Even I can't get used to it.
Shane's first name is Hawkins.
We need to stop.
So, but with that, we're excited. We're looking forward to it. Great stuff's going to be coming up, and yeah, we're gonna.
We better end before this goes on way too long.
I just wanted to say thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
It's been great. Thanks, guys.
And that was said by Shane
Hawkins.
Mr. Hawkins.
Hey.
And with that, from next time from nowhere. I'm trying to get the new ending and help that.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.